there, cats and kittens. I'm Felicat, and this is the test, which is less of a game and more of a, I guess, psychological experience. It promises to be pretty interesting, and, yeah, let's just get started. Now, in order to begin, this is the most important part of this entire experience. You'll be asked a series of questions, and you must answer them honestly. Now, when I say answer them honestly, I don't mean answer them how you'd like to answer them. Answer them with truth, even if that's hard to face. We all want to be good people. We rarely want to admit our faults, grievances, or mistakes. But you must decide what you truly want. Do you want this to work properly? Do you want the truth about yourself, your destiny in this world? Or would you rather live a lie just to hide from yourself? The process is very simple in theory. Just answer a long series of questions. What's difficult is self-analyzing your own psyche to evaluate the truth in your mind and life so that you can predict your future. My future needs to have more sleep in it, I think. You see, as long as you're honest with these questions and answers, you'll be able to see your own future here. This will tell you things that you already know, but don't necessarily know that you know. As long as the answers you provide to the questions asked are 100% honest and true, this process will simply unlock a part of your mind that you did not have natural access to. This isn't psychic. This isn't a personality test. This is simply nature. This is you. This is your own mind. This is simply nature taking its course. This is the human brain at work unlocking hidden truths within itself. While attempting to answer many of these questions, you'll often wonder things like, well, this answer depends on the circumstances. Create your own circumstances in your mind and answer the questions with a simple yes or no as you see fit. You may not understand nor realize it, but your mind will develop the situation required to answer your question the way it needs to be answered. I invite you to grab a drink of water, sit back, relax, and enjoy the experience. We are about to begin with a series of questions, and provided that you are willing participant, we'll be unlocking some substantial information today. Here we go. Would you be alright with living alone forever? Now, I have to preface this by saying that I watched a video about this game already. So I know what some of the questions are. I don't know if they change depending on how you answer. But this I thought about before when I was watching, and also right now before I got ready to load this up. This is an unequivocal no for me, okay? I struggle with feeling alone and isolated and just generally lonely and by myself on a planet full of 8 billion people, roughly speaking. How do you think I would handle being really and truly completely alone forever? I think I would probably start out with a sense of almost relief in a way. Oh god, the noise has finally stopped, you know. There's no more bullshit going on. There's no more blah 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 that nonsense all the time anymore. After a while though, that would wear off, and the realization that there was no one would start to set in. And I would probably eventually just go mad from the sheer fact that I was by myself. And it might be alleviated for a while if there were, like, animals, cats and dogs and whatnot still left alive. But even that, I realized as I was thinking about this more, if that were the case, it would be even worse for me. Because I would have to live with the fact that there were all of these wonderful animals out there, these previous pets, cats, dogs, what have you, who now needed help and care. And that I, as the single human being left alive on the planet, would not be able to even begin to make a dent in what these animals needed. So yes, I would lose my mind. There's no doubt about it. I'd go crazy, I'd wish for death every day, and it would be a tortured existence until the end of time. So no, I would not. I like the color blue more than the color black. Not especially. I don't really have a quote-unquote favorite color. I have colors that I like more than others, but no, they're both cool in my book. I like them both okay. If you found money on the street and knew who it belonged to, would you give it back? Absolutely. It's not mine to keep. Besides, I might get a reward if I turn it into him, right? It's always a possibility with this kind of situation. So yeah, I'd give it to him if I knew whose it was. You know what? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I want the answers that I seek. Because I'm curious to see where this ends up going. Oh, I'm afraid of spiders. Nope, quite the opposite. I think spiders are awesome. I don't necessarily want the gigantic ones like that live in the southern rainforest or whatever crawling on me or interacting with me in any way. But I like spiders. Spiders are cool. They eat nasty bugs that I don't like. They make really awesome webs. A lot of them have really beautiful color patterns. Some of the little bitty ones are really, really adorable with their tiny little legs and their itty bitty jumpy bodies. They're adorable. I like spiders a lot, actually. If you knew what you would emerge unscathed, would you jump into molten lava? I mean, my clothes wouldn't be unscathed, right? It would either be skinny dipping or I'd lose whatever outfit I was wearing. I don't know. This is more of a hard one. I'm going to say yes. Well, no, because there would be no point if somebody else is already in the lava and they were already in danger. There's no hope for them. I'm sorry, you're just gonna die. I can't save you, even if I jump in. So I'm gonna say no. Because what if this particular lava is not going to be safe for me? I don't know. I'm not a big risk taker. So, probably not, no. But you can, yes, I am fat, as a matter of fact. I know I'm fat. My scale tells me frequently that I'm fat. So, yeah, there's no question here. Would you say that? No, I don't think I'm charismatic at all. I think that if people take the time to actually get to know me, they oftentimes end up liking me and enjoying my company. But I'm not gonna be like, I don't know, freaking, I don't know, I can't think of anybody right now. I'm no Ryan Reynolds, okay? I'm not a charming person. I think people like me when they get to know me, but I don't actually draw them in very well. So no, I'm not charismatic. Have you ever wished you could be temporarily frozen? I've actually thought about this before. Like before I even knew about this game experience or whatever you call it. And I've actually thought about this, like, in what way do you be temporarily frozen? Like, do you mean like full body, like cryogenically frozen? It depends on how long, I think. Okay, let's do a hypothetical. Let's say this is some far-flung time in the future. I have this incurable disease. They know there's no hope for me. But at the same time, there exists a line of research they're already pursuing that could eventually lead to the cure for this disease years and years and years and years from now. If I were dying, and if that disease could potentially be cured by an already active line of research, then maybe, just maybe, I'd be okay with being frozen. But then again, isn't that just basically the same thing as dying? I think I'd rather experience whatever time I have than be frozen for a possible later save me date. So no. No. Maybe if there was a guarantee that everything would be fine and I would come out of it okay, and nothing bad would happen to me. But even then, I'd miss out on experiences with my family and loved ones and friends. What, the 2 or 3 friends in the world that I actually think I consider my friends. I'd miss out on stuff with them. The good, the bad, and the ugly is all important. And I want to be there for it. Because I love my people. Even though my circle is small. They're all really important to me. So, no, I wouldn't want to miss out on our experiences together. This is all very interesting. Did you realize that the last letter of the previous... Yeah, I saw this in the other video, and I didn't pay attention then, and I didn't notice it now, so no, I didn't realize it. Does it make me uncomfortable? Not really. I mean, it's a name for a dark deity in Christianity. I'm not bothered by the name itself. Now, if I were actually face-to-face with the deity in question, I would be very bothered, but no, I don't worry about that kind of stuff. It's just a name, like any other name. Like 666 is just another number. If you start counting, you're bound to get to it eventually. So no, I'm fine with that. Are you good at finding hidden puzzles or clues? If I know I'm looking for them, yes. Are you wondering now? Kinda, now that you mention it, yes. Have you been entirely honest with your answers thus far? As honest as I can be, I believe I have, yes. Are you afraid of the consequences for answering questions dishonestly? Not really. I mean, what can you do to me? You're a pixelated person inside of a video game. From where I'm staying, there's no real danger here whatsoever. Were you aware that there could be consequences? I was, but only because I watched the other video. So yeah, I kind of was. Are you wondering how these questions begin to take a strange turn? Not really, I kind of expected it, to be honest, because like I said, I watched the video before, and this kind of thing always happens in experiences like these, right? Would you consider yourself captivated? Captivated is a strong word. I want to see where this goes, but I could quit if I wanted to. So not really, no. Very interesting. Would you consider yourself to be brave? Well, that depends. What are we talking here? Are we talking rush into a burning building to save a life brave, or are we talking stand up in front of people I've never met before and give a speech brave? Because quite frankly, I could probably do the first one easier than the second one. But if you look at courage as doing what needs to be done even if it terrifies you, even if you know it's going to be painful, even if you know it might hurt someone you care about, then yeah, I'd say I'm pretty brave. Do you view yourself as someone with above average intelligence? There was a time when I would answer this question no, but based on what I see of the world today with Facebook and social media and just life in general, I'm gonna say yeah, I absolutely do. Have you been looking for hidden messages? Not really, no. I don't care enough, frankly. They're not gonna pop out at me, obviously. Am I wondering what I may have missed? Kinda a little bit. Have you begun to wonder how long this test will take or how many questions exist in this session? Not really. It doesn't matter to me. I have all the time in the world right now, so I don't care enough to worry about it. So no, not really. Would you consider yourself to be patient? Absolutely. And let me tell you one of the reasons why. Before I had these past couple years of my life, I had already thought of myself as a fairly patient person. I've never been in a big rush to get the latest gadget or to, you know, do this thing or that thing or go see this movie or have this game or have this experience. But this past couple of years, I'm just gonna flat out say it, has been my own personal version of hell. Almost exactly now 3 years ago, my mom passed away, and that was extremely hard for the entire family, of course. It hit me different, I think, than it did a lot of other people. I didn't mourn publicly. I didn't really cry much at her funeral. I did, don't get me wrong, there were a lot of tears, but they weren't really obvious tears, you know, I wasn't screaming and yelling and whatnot. No one did that, mind you. Everybody was pretty calm, but there was no outburst from me, personally, at her funeral. I don't think there was ever really a full outburst from me, actually. Not in front of other people, anyway. Privately, I cried all the time. Like, I'm gonna cry right now thinking about it. But privately, I cried all the time. I would spend entire days just quietly sitting alone on my chair on my computer, watching or playing or whatever thing, the media I was enjoying or trying to watch or distract myself with even, and just cry endlessly. And sometimes I would just sit here and stare off into the distance of my room and just cry. All the time. But yeah, that was the first hard thing that I went through the past couple of years. A little bit after that, right when the pandemic started actually, I did something or something happened in the realm of my back. And I found out when I actually got to the hospital and got examined for it, what happened was I had gotten myself a herniated disc. That was the most excruciatingly horrible, painful thing I've ever experienced in my entire life, and I sincerely hope and pray that you listening to this never go through that, because it was absolutely hell. They had me come in a day or two later for an MRI to see specifically what was happening with my back. And I came to find out at that time that I have something called spinal stenosis, which is, I've talked about this before in other videos, but it's a narrowing of the spinal column, the that goes up and down your backbone, that space in between your vertebrae where your spinal cord rests, that has points along it that are narrower than they should be. So that sometimes there will be a flare-up of inflammation in that area, and I had one recently, and it will cause extreme pain in various parts of my back, my legs, and my hips for days and days, maybe even weeks on end. And back when all this first started, I spent weeks sitting in this chair because I could not get up and lie down to go to sleep in my bed because the pain was so excruciating that if I even tried, I would just tense up and lie there and cry and cry and cry, and it didn't be no good whatsoever. It was better for me to stay in this chair and sleep when I could in this chair than it was for me to try to go to bed. So I did that for weeks. There was a point during all of that, by the way, it just keeps going, I know, but there was a point during this whole thing with my back when the initial symptoms first set in, my left leg was temporarily paralyzed. Like, I could not move it. I could not make it do anything. It was just a limp hunk of flesh hanging off my body. Eventually, with determination and patience on my part, and with constant attempts to make it work again, it got to the point where finally, after all this time, it's back to normal for the most part. Actually, I think my left leg and foot are probably stronger than they have been in a while because of that incredible setback. So yeah. Oh, and then there's one more thing. I don't talk about this as much because it's kind of nasty, but during the course of all this shit with my paralyzed left leg, I ended up falling a few times. Painful enough on its own. But during one of those times that I fell, during my attempts to get back up, I scratched and scraped my legs along the floor. And lo and behold, they turned into these big-ass burn-like wounds that are still healing 2.5 years later. They're doing a hell of a lot better, though. Like, they're vastly improved over initially. And they're healing faster every day. Because I'm taking care of it. I'm taking care of myself. I'm not, like, letting it suck or anything like that. I'm taking care of them. They're doing really well. It's a pain in the ass, and sometimes they hurt like burning on fire. Sometimes. Only sometimes. And that pain doesn't really get mollified by painkillers either, unfortunately. Unless I were willing to go to a doctor and tell them the problem that I'm having and I need, and even if I did that, I would not take narcotic painkillers. I refuse. I know what they can do. I want nothing to do with them. So yeah, that's been my life for the past 3 years plus. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm fucking patient. I have to be. I can't be in a rush to do anything anymore. I have to be patient. I cannot rush anything. I can't. So, yes, I'm patient. Most humans annoy you? Frankly, yeah, they do. Don't get me wrong, people in general are fantastic. The human race as a whole sucks. Individual people are wonderful. There are a lot of people on this planet that I love, either personally, in my actual circle that I know. Lots of people that I love. When I was working, there were lots of people that I really cared about, that I loved seeing at my job every day, that I loved talking to, and you know, all that stuff. I love helping people, ironically. I think people mostly suck, but I do love helping people figure things out or learn new things, or especially if it's related to technology. I love helping people figure out technology. I don't know, it's a thing for me. I just love it so much. I love helping people. I love the people that I love. There are lots of people, actors, and, well, voice actors specifically. But there are lots of voice actors and musicians and people like that. And YouTubers, actually, who I watch and listen to and enjoy very much, and I admire them, and I have a love for those people, too. I have a sense of camaraderie or a sense of companionship when I hear or see them. I'll never meet any of these people face to face, but I consider them to be kindred spirits. I care for them. I want them to be well and happy, and, I get excited about their stuff they have going on. As if they were my friends, even though we'll never actually meet. So yeah, there are some people I think are great, but humans mostly do annoy me a lot, so yes, they do. Do you prefer animals to people? Yes, most animals are better than most people. See previous statement, but yes. That's not to say that I'm going to choose sitting at home with my cats over going out to a movie with my sister and her youngest daughter, who is, by the way, 21. She's not young, but she's her youngest daughter. But no, I would rather stay with my cats than go out to a bar or whatever. So yeah, I prefer the company of animals to the company of most people. Do I believe in magic? I don't believe in, like, the Dungeons and Dragons or World of Warcraft type magic, no. I think that's a silly bunch of hoo-ha nonsense. It's fun to play around with or to think about. Do I believe that there is a different kind of magic intrinsic in human beings' experience on this earth? Yes, I do. I think that there are certain things we can't explain. I actually saw a really cool post on this Facebook the other day about this very question. And it was a series of people explaining certain little weird things that happen for them in their life. One person's story was that if they complain about something, say if they have a hotel room key that's not working, and they complain and call the manager or whatever, the manager comes, and despite nothing else being different whatsoever, same hotel room, same key, same everything else, when the other person shows up to help, suddenly it works. Another person said that they had a weird knack for knowing just exactly when the Disney Channel was coming back off commercials. So there you go. And there were these other little examples of these, like, inexplicable little things that certain people have an inexplicable ability to do without any understanding of the how or the why. So yeah, I believe there's a certain type of magic. I don't know exactly what it is. I don't know exactly how it's defined. But I believe there's a magic in the world that we can't understand. Do I believe in the God? Do you believe in the God or the existence of some form of higher power? Yes, sort of, mostly. And I say this only because, well, there are a few reasons. I was raised in a Christian belief system. My parents, well, my mom's gone now. My parents were not Christian. They didn't. Well, my dad is kind of. He doesn't go to church or anything like that. But I was raised with the Christian belief system. Yes, I know. That's its own special kind of hell. But back then, that was what you did. It was in the 80s. Everybody raised their kids like that, or Catholic, or Jewish, or whatever. It's not so common now, and I would not do it to my own children if I had any. But it's just the way things were done back then. It was a different time, and I turned out okay. I don't think I'm going to hell for some nonsense or anything like that. I don't even necessarily believe in hell, because I grew up and learned my own mind. See? And my parents were okay with me exploring other ideas. I was Wiccan for a while. I've studied some Satanism. I mean, I've looked at all kinds of different religions. Because I believe that knowledge is power, and the more you know, the better you can be. Anyway, aside from all that, yes, I do believe there is something beyond humanity. I don't know if that's God. I don't know if that's universal forces. I don't know if that's an alien species that put everything together the way that it is. But being that we have no better explanation for how this planet even came into existence other than, oh, it just happened. Yeah, life on Earth just happened. Sure it did. That's why this planet is perfectly designed in such a way that plants exude oxygen and breathe in carbon dioxide, and people exude carbon dioxide and breathe in oxygen, and so does every other animal on Earth. Yeah, that's a coincidence. Sure it is. And it might be. But I have a hard time believing that. And even if all that were true, which I admit it might be true, I don't know for sure. But even if all that were true, even if that was just coincidence and happenstance, how do you explain how life began at all? We haven't been able to replicate the progenesis of life. We can't do that in a lab. We haven't observed it happening in nature. And it's been a damn long time since we started studying. You'd think we'd have discovered something about it by now. So yeah, I believe there's something else going on that we don't know about and probably never will. Do you fear death? This is a tough one for me, because I actually, as I get older, and I'm not old yet, I'm going to be 40 this year, but I'm not old. But I do spend a lot of time, maybe because I don't feel like I've really lived a lot of my life, ironically. I do spend a lot of time thinking about the things that I'd miss out on if I died. Like, I wouldn't be able to fall in love again, and I probably still won't have my own kids, but I'd never be able to be a mom, you know. I wouldn't be able to see or spend time with the people that I love. I mean, there's a whole host of reasons why I don't want to die. I don't know if that's the same thing as being afraid, though. Part of me is, but then a part of me is also like, well, but here's the thing. I kind of want to know what happens next. Because as wonderful as life on this planet can be, Earth is mostly shit. Let's just face the reality of the situation. Human life on Earth is basically shit. And there has to be something above, beyond, and better than this. After this. I don't know what it might be. But I know from studying science when I was a wee kid that energy can be neither created nor destroyed. It just changes form. And that alone tells me that the energy of who I am continues on after this physical energy is gone. Because we're not just physical. We're mental, we're emotional, we're spiritual beings. All of that goes somewhere after we're gone here. And I've had some really weird encounters with maybe ghosts, maybe just spirits that have passed on. Like, I love this story. For a while after my ex-fiance dumped me, like, last week's newspaper, I was living with my sister for a while. And she was there with her middle daughter and her youngest, who at the time was about 4, 5, 3. I forget her exact age at that time, but she was really little. Anyway, we had been sitting around watching a movie or something on TV. It was kind of late at night. I didn't have a job at that point. I was working on it, but I didn't have a job yet. But we were just kind of sitting around watching TV, and when it was done and over with, everyone was going to settle down and go to bed. The little one was already long asleep by now. She wasn't watching the movie because it was like some horror thing. She was already long asleep. But my sister and her middle daughter and I were watching TV, and we all split up and went our separate ways for the night. I decided I was going to take a bath, so I went in and started getting ready to do that. And I'm sitting on the edge of the bathtub, doing that thing where you rinse it out with water before you start filling it, you know? And as I'm sitting there, I'm not looking at the doorway, it's behind me. I get this sensation, this feeling, that there's somebody standing in the doorway. And I just figured, oh, it's my sister or her daughter, and my niece, and they want to talk or something. And the next thing I know, the light goes out. I'm like, oh crap, the light bulb blew, I'm gonna have to do this later. So I turn around and I look. It wasn't the light bulb. Somebody flipped the light switch. Someone actually physically turned the light off. And it wasn't any living person. Sister, as far as I know, was in the living room, still in her bedroom. Her older daughter was also not present in that moment. So, yeah. I have no idea who turned that light off, but I know it wasn't any of us. And then, much more recently, after I lost what I call, well, the term is heart dog that I didn't know about before, but when I lost my heart dog Princess, it broke me big time for many reasons that I don't want to get into right now, but for a long time after she passed away, and even to this day sometimes, if I think about her strong enough, or if I say her name, or if I will her to come and be with me, I will feel her presence sitting right beside me. It's actually happening now, which is weird. But I just feel like she's sitting in the same spot that she always used to do. Just sitting there beside me, you know, looking up like, hey mom, what's going on? Just hanging out, being with me. Yeah, you're there, aren't you? I can tell. Don't let me keep you from having fun doing whatever, baby. I'm just talking about the fact that I feel you all the time. And I appreciate it. You're still my best girl. Hey, go play. Go see Mom, okay? Go spend time with her. You know I miss you guys. You're all awesome. I'm in the middle of a thing right now. But you can hang out if you want. You're your own dog. You decide what you do. But yeah. Just like that. Just like talking about her, I felt her. I felt her right beside me. I don't know what that is, and I can't explain it, but that goes beyond death. Because she's been gone a long time now. Not long, but a while. So, no, I don't fear death. I don't want to die, and I'm not looking forward to it, but I'm not afraid of it, because I want to know what happens next. That was a really long-winded answer. I'm sorry about that. Are you attracted to someone whom you're not... Well, yes, because I'm not in a relationship. There are lots of attractive men out there that I think are freaking hot, and, you know, something about them just triggers that response. It could even just be the sound of their voice. Yeah. Anyway, absolutely, because I'm single. I'm allowed to be attracted to whoever I want to be. Yes, I answer honestly because I'm single. I can say that. I'm attracted to lots of people. Well, lots of men. Sorry, I'm just 100% hetero. Mostly. I say that, but, fully admitting and acknowledging that if the right circumstances happened, and if it was the right woman, I can't say that I would not have a romantic relationship with her. But I'm mostly attracted to men. They're who I think about when I think about romance and stuff like that. They're who I imagine myself being with as partners. I'm attracted to men. I'm hetero, but there's a possibility of some shenanigans if circumstances were a little bit different or if certain things happened in different ways. Anyway, are you alone? Yes, absolutely. Unless there's a mouse hiding around in here somewhere, I'm totally alone. Are you? Yes, I'm sure. There's no one in here. If I told you with almost certainty there's something watching you, well, you know what? There might be something watching me. If angels and whatnot do exist, if spirits are actually out there, if Princess was really sitting beside me right now, she was watching me, so yes. If you knew for sure someone was watching me right now, I would believe you. Because I don't discount that possibility. I mean, not a physical being perhaps, but a spiritual one, sure, yeah. No, I could believe that. Have you wondered who I am? Kinda, yeah. Have you had shivers at any point during this? No. No, I'm cool. I'm in my room. It's daylight. Got a nice bright, well, semi-bright light behind me. I'm cozy in my chair with my kotatsu style heater and blankie. I'm fine. I'm cool. The only thing that can make this better would be like a cup of hot cocoa or something. That's it. Speaking of which, cover my tootsies because they're cold again. No, I'm cool. Do you feel like you're being watched? No. I mean, there might be some spiritual creature watching me, but no. Have you considered quitting early? No. Do you drink water? Yes, I do, actually. I make an effort to drink water every day. I don't drink enough, but I do try. Do you eat? Yes, absolutely. I make sure I eat regularly. That's actually what helps you lose weight. Eat right, food at the right time. You will maintain and even slowly lose weight, even if you do nothing else differently. I wouldn't have believed it, except that it worked for me. And this is coming from somebody who practically can't exercise. You realize you missed 7 hidden messages? 7?! I'm gonna have to review this later to see what those 7 are. I might edit that in later. No, I didn't realize that. Do you realize that you just missed another one? No, how? Are you wondering? Yes, I'm wondering what they were. Would it bother you to never know without finding them yourself? Actually, it would. Is your favorite number 7? No, actually, it's not. Life is short, but it's the longest thing we'll ever do. Do you agree? No, I don't. I think the afterlife is much longer than whatever measly time we get here. And I think pre-life might be just as long as that. So no, I don't. Oranges cannot be compared to apples. Yes, I was just talking about this concept with my dad the other day, or last night even. I forget oh, I remember now. We were talking about some reporter on the news or whatever was talking about an incident that unfortunately happened in Ukraine. And that just made me realize that I've been doing all this, and yet in the back of my mind, I haven't mentioned it yet, but now that I think about it again, my thoughts and prayers are very much with the people of Ukraine. I don't want anyone to be hurt. I don't want anyone to be killed. I wish the situation could be resolved without violence. I know that that's impossible because violence is spreading even now. I wish I could do something to stop it. All I can do is hope and pray that we manage to figure this out somehow, because it's horrible. What's happening to them right now is awful. But that made me think of that because we were talking about some reporter in Ukraine, or talking about something that happened in Ukraine that apparently there was no evidence for. And he was essentially saying, well, how do we know that if this had actually happened, wouldn't everybody have been recording it on their cameras and cell phones? And that got my dad talking about how wrong it is to compare the life of an American citizen to the life of a citizen in Ukraine. And I mentioned, myself actually, that's like comparing apples to oranges. They're two completely different experiences. You can't judge what's happening somewhere else on the basis of your own experience in your own country, in your own home. That's ignorant, among other things. But anyway, yes, I agree with this completely. Can't compare one to the other. They're completely different. Allergies. The sinuses suck. Venus is sometimes referred to as the morning star. Did you know that? Yes, I did know that. It's also sometimes referred to as the evening star, depending on where it is in its revolution. Everyone deserves a second chance. Do you agree? Well, this is one of those circumstances type of questions. If someone lied to me, or took something from me, or something like that, if my ex fucked up our relationship and realized it was stupid to do that and asked for another go, then yes. Those are situations where I would give a second chance. But if somebody is a rapist or a murderer, or if they, commit armed robbery or something horrible like that, no. They don't deserve a second chance. I'm sorry. So, most people, but not everyone. So I'm going to have to say no. Not everyone does. You can do anything you put your mind to. Do you agree? I want to agree with this statement. But it depends kind of on what anything is. If I put my mind to flying, it don't matter how hard I put my mind to it, I ain't going to be taking off flying with wings or my arms or anything anytime soon. So yes, but with some limitations. Some limitations. Obedience is more important than freedom. Oh, hell no. This is the entire basis of our nation. Obedience is never more important than freedom. Absolutely not. Underwater adventures sound like a fun time, don't you agree? Maybe. Like, it depends on how, on the, again, context. In real life, if I'm secure and safe and I know that I'm not going to be hurt or anything, then yeah, that does sound like a lot of fun. I'd love to go in a submarine and see ocean life around me and stuff like that. I would even enjoy being inside a shark cage. And being within touching distance of great whites. I would love that. So yeah, that does sound like fun. Did you realize that the first lady said, no, I didn't, and I should have because I saw this before. But no, I wasn't paying attention. Do you wish to... Doesn't everybody? Yeah, of course. Do I have any addictions? Not to drugs or alcohol or anything like that, no. I might be slightly addicted to video games, maybe. Also, perhaps sugar. Not so much caffeine. I do have some caffeine with in my coffee each day, but if I don't get it, I'm not a monster or anything like that. But I don't know. Maybe kinda, but not to anything especially dangerous, and not to the point where it's like something I have to do all the time. So actually, no. Maybe not so much. No, I would say that I probably don't. Thanks in small part because of the fact that my sister was an addict. Thankfully, she was able to push past that part of her life. Extremely happy now. For a long time, she was in a rough spot, though. But I think between her and actually my mother's addiction to cigarettes, or possible addiction to cigarettes, I personally don't believe that nicotine is all that addictive. I've heard stories about people who ran out of cigarettes one night and never bought another pack again. That's not an addictive substance if you can do that. But thanks to the examples of others around me, no. I don't have any actual addictions. Do you dislike the color pink? Circumstantially. Like, I don't wear pink. I don't have a single item of pink clothing in my entire wardrobe. I don't want pink bedding or sheets or blankets or towels or any of that kind of stuff around me. I don't have any pink jewelry. But I do like pink if it's in nature. Like cherry blossoms. Or some other lovely flower. Or on certain birds and animals. Or in roses. You know, there are circumstances where pink is fine. But it's not on my wardrobe, and I'm not going to be wearing it. And it's not going to be around me in my home environment. So generally I dislike pink, but circumstantially I think it's a lovely color. Does the color gray seem depressing? No, not really. Gray is a neutral color. It makes me think of overcast skies and rainy days or snowy days, and that's a very cozy time, and that's cozy inside my head. Like, rainy, snowy days feel cozy to me because it feels like wrap a blanket around you, drink some cocoa, watch a movie, cuddle with a pet or a honey or a baby, you know. And I mean child, not like, oh, that's my honey, that's baby. I mean like your actual child, you know. So no, it's not depressing, it's cozy and happy and makes you think of snuggling up with somebody I love. So no, it's not depressing. You enjoy a lot of music. I used to when I was in my much younger years, but again, this is a thing that's circumstantial for me only at concerts now. At home, on my own, whatever, not really. Not anymore, not like I used to. Do I like to dance? I can't dance. Like, literally, physically can't dance. I don't know if I would like to dance because I've never actually done it. But I'm gonna say no, just because if I did, it would probably be a very painful experience, and I don't want to hurt any more than I have to. But I consider myself normal. Well, see, here's the thing. I never have, so no, I don't. Do you live? Oh, absolutely. I mean, I don't say it as much. My dad doesn't say it either. He's old school. He was born in 1945, okay? He's an old man now. He's old school, doesn't really vocalize his emotions like that. And my mom was kind of the same way. Well, my mom was the opposite. But but yeah, I wouldn't be here if it weren't for either one of them. You know, if circumstances hadn't happened just exactly the right way for those two to meet each other, to fall in love with each other, my parents did. They absolutely did. And I'm kind of tearing up a little bit because I'm remembering how they were together, especially when I was younger. But even throughout my entire adult life, until she passed, you know, there was a very deep and abiding love. It was never really spoken very much, but it was in actions more than words. And I think that's how love is best expressed, I think. You can say I love you all day long and it doesn't necessarily mean anything. But when you change somebody's bandages day after day, or when you make sure food is on the table and they have a good meal, or when you make sure that they're just okay in their life, that is love. And I wish it was the opposite. I wish I was able to take care of my dad. But right now, he's the one who needs to be taking care of me. But I do in some ways. Like, just an example, he had a similar wound to the ones I'm dealing with now, only his was much, much worse. And this is 4 or 5 years later, and it's still healing. Change that bandage. Absolutely. Without hesitation. Sometimes have to make him change it, actually. But yeah. It's not spoken so much, but absolutely. Have you ever been lied to? Yes, I have, actually. And I didn't appreciate it at all. I'm not going to go into details, but suffice it to say it was bad. Do you get angry often? Justifiably angry, yes. Like, I get angry about things that matter. You know, I get angry about injustice in the world. I get angry about what's happening in Ukraine, for example. I get angry about how people in charge are screwing things up. Those things make me angry, yes, but it's justifiable anger. I don't get angry because, I don't know, a TV show isn't on, or because dinner isn't exactly what I want it to be, or because, you know, name some random irritating thing in the world. Sometimes I get really pissed off at video games, though. I've broken some controllers in my day. I admit that. But no, I wouldn't say that I get angry often. When it's justified, though, I do. You hold grudges. I kind of do hold one. Only one. And only because this particular person essentially ruined my life. And because of their actions, my entire world fell apart around me, and everything went to shit after that for me. And yes, I probably took too long to recover from that happenstance, but regardless, this person triggered this whole thing starting. And no, it's not my ex-fiance, in case you're wondering. It's another person. But they triggered a whole cascade of crap that eventually led to me being where I am right now. And there was some good stuff that happened in the interim, don't get me wrong. And I don't necessarily think that I would trade it for a different experience, because it taught me a lot, made me who I am, helped me to grow as a person in the end. But I'll never fully be able to forgive this person for what they did to me. And for what they did to the other person involved in the situation, too. They didn't hurt just me, they hurt a lot of people. But it wasn't just my personal situation that got messed up by this person. It was a whole host of people. It wasn't just me that they hurt. It wasn't just me that they affected. They messed up a whole lot of lives with what they did, so I do hold a single grudge against that one person, because their actions screwed up things for a lot of people. So yeah, there is one. Have you ever... Yes, I have, actually. Most importantly, and quite recently, actually, myself. And I know what that sounds like, but I've had a really, really rough past, let's honestly hear, decade plus. Okay. A lot of emotional trauma, a lot of depression, a lot of anxiety, a lot of me blaming myself for things that weren't actually my fault. And I'm starting to tear up again. But I finally sat down with myself and said the words, I forgive myself for my past mistakes. I did the best I could with what I had at the time. I am responsible for things that have happened, but I am not guilty for what's happened. And still have to say it to myself once in a while to remind me that it's okay. That what I did in the past, the mistakes that I made, while I was responsible for things that happened, they weren't my fault. I should not carry guilt for those things because I did what I could with what I had. And that's what it comes down to. I did what I could with what I had at the time. If I could have done more, if I could have done better, I absolutely would have. But I did the best I could with what I had. And therefore, I can't blame myself for anything that's gone wrong because I couldn't have stopped it anyway. So yes, I have. Not just myself, of course, other people too. Like, I forgave my sister, even though I never told her this. I never told her I blamed her either. But I forgave my sister for making a lot of mistakes in her past, for her drug usage, which not necessarily her fault. Although she did start down that path willingly. Everyone does at first. But I forgave her, for giving into that weakness, for not being able to climb her way out of it, for mistakes she made while she was under the influence, Things that were not actually her fault either. But anyway, yes, I absolutely have. There are other examples, but those are the two most important ones I can think of. Forgave myself for my own mistreatment of myself and my sister for circumstances and situations that she was in that drove her to do things that she would never have done otherwise. So yes, I have. Have you ever lied? I could lie right now, and you'd never know. But yeah, I have actually. Nothing big, nothing major, but when I was in school, I had a real bad habit of not doing my homework sometimes. Mostly math, because I hated math. I still don't like math. But my parents sometimes kind of sort of did my homework for me a little bit. And then my teachers figured it out. They're not stupid. But yeah, in that sense, I did in fact lie. Do you think flowers are more beautiful than trees? No, because they each have their own unique kind of beauty. Have you ever wanted to be an animal instead of a person? Kinda, in a way, yes. Only because being an animal would be so much simpler than being a person. I wouldn't think about or worry about politics or, morality or money or any of the stuff that I worry about now. So yeah, there are times that I would rather be an animal because it's so much simpler to be an animal. But only because it would be such a relief from anxiety and stress. Do you believe you have psychic... No, I don't believe I have psychic powers. I mean, I might. I don't know that I don't, but I don't know that I do either. Have you ever seen a ghost? Seen? No. Experienced? Yes. I told you about that earlier in the video if you're paying any attention. Yes, I have experienced a ghost. No, I have never actually seen one. Do you dream often? Yes, I do, actually. Do you have nightmares? Often. No. I can't actually remember the last nightmare that I had because it was so long ago I've forgotten it. I don't have nightmares. Maybe because I feel like my waking life is often a nightmare enough. Do you suffer from anxiety attacks? I wouldn't say attacks. I do get anxious around certain situations and with people that I don't know well, but I've never actually had an anxiety attack. Do you suffer from depression? In a way, doesn't everybody? I mean, if we're being totally honest here, isn't everyone depressed to a degree? I've never been clinically diagnosed with depression, but I have had some very dark moments in my past where, even though I was never actually actively suicidal, I would often wish that I would just die. I would never take my own life in my hands, but I often wish that I would just stop existing, just die. But, you know, I don't know that I necessarily suffer from depression now. I have a lot of things to not be happy about, but I don't know that that qualifies as depression. So until I get an actual diagnosis, I'm going to say no. In the past, definitely. These days, not really. I mean, I'm not happy very much, but then again, I don't have a lot to be happy about right now. But I do find lots of times of enjoyment. Don't get me wrong. I'm not like sitting around crying all the time or curled up in a ball in my bed doing nothing. I am as active as I can be. I participate and communicate online with people, even if I don't necessarily do it face to face, as much as I can. So no, now not so much. Do you exercise often and stay active? Well, I'm going to lay down some truth on you here. If you have spinal stenosis or a similar disability or other physical limitation, the answer to this is always going to be no. Unless you're the kind of person who goes to physical therapy, which I probably should be. And I was supposed to, but then the pandemic happened and I never did. I do my best with my current situation. I'll say that. But I'm going to say no because I don't. Because I can't. Do you consider yourself emotionally wounded? I mean, have I been emotionally wounded in the past? Yes, quite recently. Well, relatively speaking. When my mother passed away, I felt that was a deep emotional wound. When my fiance broke off our relationship after quite a while, years, you know, for what I could see was no apparent reason. Was I emotionally wounded then? Yes. Have I been emotionally wounded at other times in my life? Certainly. But am I now at this point? I don't think so. I carry that trauma with me because trauma never really truly heals. But I don't sit around and think about it, you know, unless someone is asking questions like this and then these thoughts come up. But no, I'm pretty much okay. Trauma will always find a way to resurface, but I'm alright. Have you ever felt betrayed? Yes. Yes, I have. Yes, I have. Probably more than once, but specifically when my fiance left me and hooked up with somebody who was a bit younger. Not excessively, but a bit younger than we both were. And the whole circumstance was just a big fat mess. But yeah, I know. That's actually the person I hold a grudge against. I wasn't gonna say it, but this question came up and I had to answer. And like, yeah, I have. At least once. Probably more often than that. But yeah, that betrayal hurt a lot. Pretty sure that they were hooking up behind my back in the beginning. And I kind of hate to admit this because at the time I didn't know what was happening. But he did the same thing to her. Okay. I'm just going to lay it out there. I probably should have seen what was happening, but I was so wrapped up in my own pain and my own longing to be back to the way things were before that I didn't let myself see it. I should have known what was happening, but I ignored it or pushed it aside or dismissed it or whatever. I was the other woman. Not proud of it. I'm really not. I wish I could go back and undo that situation. Because it wasn't fair to her any more than it was to me. Even though I think she screwed up a lot of lives. And I don't forgive her for doing that. But what was done to her wasn't fair either. See, I'm fair. I'm fair. If I could undo what I did, I would absolutely do that. I would go back in time and be like, look, don't do this. I know how tempting this is because I was you, but don't do this. Hindsight's always 20/20, you know? If I could go back and undo it, I would. But that's impossible. So, sorry. I didn't realize it. Didn't want to see it. Didn't really mean to do it. But I was broken at the time. Deeply broken at the time. Emotionally wounded, you would say, even. And desperate and sad and lonely. And missing the love of my life, so I caved. I gave in. I was weak. And I'm sorry that happened. But yes, I have been betrayed, actually. Do you ever feel lost in life? I feel lost in life right now. What are you talking about? I have no job. I have no money. I have no family. Well, no, I have my family, but I have no partner. I have no children. I have nothing. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So yes, I'm lost. Why don't you consider yourself a natural? Hell no. I don't think I could lead people out of a paper bag. But I could be wrong. I mean, I don't know. I've never been in a situation where I had to step up and be a leader. I might be fine in those circumstances. I might surprise myself. But I don't consider myself a natural leader, no. If you could push a button to destroy the world, no! The world is beautiful. As much as people suck, the world itself is a beautiful place still. There are many, many wonderful things in life to experience. There are many beautiful things on this planet to see and witness and wonder about. So no, of course not. Do you sometimes dream of... Not really. I don't dream of being a hero. I just dream of being a better version of myself, really. And living a life that I would prefer to live over the one I have right now. But I don't want to be Superman or Superwoman or anything like that. I just want to be a better me. Living a better life than the one I have right now. That's all. Yes, I have been bullied. I've been fat my entire life. Of course I've been bullied. It wasn't nice. It bothered me for a while. But eventually I got to the point where I just stopped giving a fuck. But yeah, I've been bullied. Have you ever bullied someone else? Not intentionally. Like, I call people out on their bullshit on Facebook sometimes, or in YouTube comments sometimes, but I try to do it in such a way that is more playful than mean, I guess you could say. So no, never intentionally. Would you consider yourself to be a dreamer? When I'm stuck in my chair at my desk, watching or playing movies or games or TVs or whatever, yeah, I do. I think about what could be all the time. Do you sometimes hurt people's feelings unintentionally? I don't think so. I suppose it's a possibility, but I don't think I do. I think I'd notice if I did. You find space fascinating. Absolutely. Space is amazing. But you can... No, I'm not an artist. I can color all day long. Like, give me a coloring book and some pencils and I'm good. But I can't draw for crap. So no, I'm not an artist. You can say, yes, I'm loyal. I'm dependable. I mean, I sound like I'm trying to make a dating profile here, but I'm loyal. I'm dependable. I won't push you unless you need to be pushed. I give people their space when they need it. I'm there for them when they don't want space, when they need someone to be at their side. I'm at their side. So yeah, I think I'm a good friend. I don't have a lot of friends, but you consider yourself. Would you consider yourself to be flawed? If you answer no to this question, you're a jackass. Of course I'm flawed. Perfection? No. Perfection is an impossibility. Perfection does not exist. Perfection is an ideal to which we aspire but can never possibly achieve. Now, have you ever stolen from someone? I'm thinking about this because I wanna be honest here. Never shoplifted. I've never been to someone's house and, like, swiped a movie or something. I've never stolen money out of anyone's purse or bag or pocket. No. Unless I was a small, stupid kid who can't remember what happened at the time. No. Would you ever kill someone under any circumstances? Only under very specific circumstances. But if I had to, if it came right down to it, I would take a life for specific reasons. If you had one day left to live, would you tell anyone? No. No, because I would not want their last memories of me to be knowing that I was going to die the next day. And I think back to my mom died, and if I had known the day before that she was going to die the next day, it was spoiled everything from that day. You know? The whole last day with her that we got to have would have been spoiled by the knowledge she was going to be gone the next day. So no, I would not tell anyone. Have you ever told your darkest secrets to someone? Well, I mean, I've told a few secrets in this video about things that happened that I'm not proud of. There are other secrets that I still have that I have not told anyone. Nothing like evil or anything. Don't act like that. But no, I haven't. Do you trust me even though you know? No, I don't trust anybody. That's my modus operandi. I don't trust anyone. Do you know who I am? No, how would I? If I appeared behind you right now, would you scream? If my, well, I would say mother, but if my mother appeared behind me right now, I probably definitely would scream because she would be a spirit or ghost, and that would be very frightening, or surprising at least. If freaking my cat appeared behind me right now, I would probably scream. Well, not scream, but, you know. Apparated out of nowhere and behind, yes, who wouldn't? If I told you I'd been behind you this entire time, would that scare you? No. You know what's behind me? A wall. Literally a wall. There's a wall behind me. There's like a little tiny narrow amount of space between my dresser and my wall behind my chair. So there's literally no way anything could be behind me right now. So no. Would you consider yourself to be empathetic? Absolutely. Would you consider yourself to be romantic? Absolutely. Have you ever been in a physical fight? No. I avoid conflict whenever possible, so absolutely not. Are you prone to headaches? No. I mean, my sinuses hurt frequently because of my allergies and stuff, but headaches in general, no. I don't get those. Do you look at the rat? Yes, I do. I got that habit from my dad, and he got that habit from being a mailman for many years. So yeah, I do that. Am I attracted to the opposite sex? Yes, I talked about this earlier. Would you ever shave your head? It would depend on the circumstances, like why am I doing this, but yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to that in the right situation. Are you attracted to muscular bodies? Not really. I think they're gross. Do you ever dance when no one knows? I don't dance. I can't dance. I'm not capable of dancing. Do you trust your... Absolutely I do. Remember your child extremely well. No, I don't. And I'm wondering if this is because of trauma that happened between then and now. I don't mean anything really horrible happening, but certain situations took place during my childhood that I'm not going to talk about here that were traumatic for me. Certain things happened during my teenage years that were traumatic for me. I was never abused or anything like that. It's not like that. That never happened to me. No one in my family or that I love or that I trust ever did anything nasty to me. But there were other situations and other traumas that did happen. And I wonder if maybe that's what clouds my memory sometimes. There are certain moments and points in time that I remember like that happened yesterday. But generally speaking, no, I don't. Would you rob a bank if you could get away with it? No, because it would be hurting other people. I mean, even if the money was insured, and it is. Do you ever dream about running from a killer? No. I've had very strange dreams, but nothing's ever really chased me in dreams. Do you ever dream about falling off a cliff? Not that I know about. I don't remember any dreams like that. Do you ever dream about being naked in public? I don't think so. I've had dreams along these lines, though. Do you enjoy it? Yes, I love scary movies and books. I love watching horror films. They're my favorite thing. Do you enjoy comedy? Yes, I do. Sometimes. The right kind of comedy, yeah, I do. Do you like being a certain? No. No, I don't. Although it would be nice if people would acknowledge my existence sometimes. Do you feel like some of these lawyers watching you? No, not really. Have you ever wondered what it'd be like to go to space? Yes, I have. I've thought about that. Thought about it quite a bit. But I ultimately decided that that's for the next few generations coming up, not for me. If it ever becomes an option to take a day trip to the moon, I'll go, of course. Who wouldn't do that? But yeah, I've thought about it. Have you ever had an alibi? Yes, I have, actually. They are extremely creepy and freaky. Extremely weird. Have you ever punched a nun? No. I've met nuns. They were quite nice. Lovely ladies. Had wonderful experiences helping them at my job. But no, I've never punched a nun. Do you like dogs? No. No, I like them about equally. Give me the right cat, I'll love that cat with my entire heart. Give me the right dog, I'll love that dog with my entire heart. It doesn't matter to me their species. I love them all. Do you prefer to read more than you prefer to watch movies? Well, not more one than the other. I like them both for different reasons. Again, this is the whole cats versus dogs debate. I like both for different reasons. So no, I like both. Are you still wondering why I've asked you if you've ever punched a nun? Not really. Do you get starstruck easily? I've only ever met a couple of celebrities. And I use that term kind of loosely. I've met a couple of musicians who were performing at concerts I was going to see. I once met Trent Reznor. Highlight experience. I couldn't really say anything. I was too nervous to talk, so I guess maybe I do. Do you hate going to big? Yes. Unless it's people that I already know intimately, I don't like going to big parties and gatherings. I prefer the company of people that I know in social settings. Now, that's kind of weird to say, but I would like to get to know people, but in a more one-to-one setting or a small gathering, not a big party. Your favorite part of your birthday, receiving presents? I mean, I don't really get presents for my birthday. I'm kind of a old-ass adult now. But some acknowledgement of my birthday would be nice. Like, let's get together and have dinner or something. I don't need gifts. I just want time with the people I love. Seriously, though, have you ever punched a nun? Like, really, a blood bam right in the face. Nun punch. No, I have not. Nuns are lovely people, for the most part. There's been some corruption in the Catholic Church, I will admit. I'll acknowledge that. But the nuns I met were lovely people, and I would never consider hurting them in any way. Did you laugh? Yeah, because it was a funny way to be phrasing the sentence. Did you say what the fuck? No. No, I didn't. I did just now, but not when you asked me. Are you now or are you going to somehow get the opportunity to punch a nun sometime soon? No! Nuns are lovely people. There's a hell. You think I don't believe there is a hell. But even if there was, I don't think I'm headed there. Do you enjoy fantasy fiction? Absolutely! They're some of my favorite games to play. No? Not really. Are you wondering what constitutes frequently? A little bit, yeah. Are you more than slightly uncomfortable right now? A bit. Yeah. Is your mouth dry? I mean, it kind of already was. Does profanity make you... No. Fuck no, it doesn't. Do you believe in legendary beasts such as the Loch Ness Monster? Well, see, now, here's the thing. As much as I want to believe there's truth to these legends, don't you think that if there was, we would have found some actual solid evidence by now? I want them to be out there. I want them to be real. But show me the proof and then I'll believe. Are you poor with money management? I don't have any money. I mean, I have the stimulus checks that the government sent here a while back, and I still have a good portion of that. So, no, I'm not bad about it. At all. I just don't have any income right now. Do you enjoy studying math and math? No, I don't like math. Go away, math. Do you speak more than one language fluently? No, I still want to learn Japanese, but with all the crap that's been going on with me in the past few years, mentally it's taken a huge toll on me, and I don't have the staying power of concentration and focus that I used to have. Because there's always some pain nagging at the back of my mind. There's always some prodding ache or stinging burn sensation, or just some pain is constantly nagging me. That makes it hard to focus. Have you ever visited a country other than your own? No, sadly I haven't. There are a few I'd like to go to. Not too many, but there's a short list. Japan. I'd like to see Japan, obviously. I think it would be fun to go to Australia just to see the incredible beauty of their nature there. I'd like to go to England and the UK in general. My ancestry comes from there. And also from here. My mother was a descendant of indigenous peoples, and my dad's family was European descent. So, there you go. I'd love to travel overseas and look at Ireland and England and Scotland, where we came from. I think that would be really cool. Do you enjoy coffee? Yes, I love coffee. Do you believe in demons? I've never had any empirical experience firsthand with them, but I believe they exist. You believe in angels? Yes. Same reason. Same thing. Are you afraid of sharks? As a theory, as a concept, as an idea, as knowing that they exist in the world, no. But if you put me face to face in the water with one, I might be a little freaked out. But I'm gonna say no, just because unless I have a shark come at me to chomp me, I think I'd be fine with knowing that they were around. It's their world after all, not mine. Do you prefer baths over showers? I can't take baths anymore, for reasons mentioned earlier in this video. But I love baths. I miss them so much. Yes, I do. I do. Does the smell of perfume or cologne give you... No, not really. Doesn't bother me. There's no shadow in my... I mean, there are shadows in my room, but there's nothing in here that... There's nothing moving. Shut up. Do you ever hear your name being called even you know what? No, I've never had that happen to me. I don't think so. I don't remember that anyway. Things in your home often go missing and then reappear later. No. Not really. Ever have footsteps around you when you're alone? No. Ever hear random knocking noises? No. Until you knocked on me. Do you often look at the same time on the clock every day? Yes, actually. Have you ever felt your feet being grabbed at night while sleeping? No. Do you have pets? Yes, I do. Favorite color green? No, it's not. I don't dislike it, but it's not my favorite. Are you attracted? No. Goodness, no. If you ever won the lottery, would you share the money with anyone? Yes, with lots of people. I can never spend that much money in my entire lifetime. If you can be the dictator of your own country, would you accept the role? No, because I don't think anyone should ever have to live under a dictatorship of any kind. Not even if it was benevolent. Do you ever want to know what it'd be like to be in prison? No? Do you like fishing? I've never been fishing. But I don't like the idea of fishing myself. I like watching river monsters because I think the fish are really cool. And I love seeing them. I love watching people fish. Or at least like watching people fish, but I've never tried it myself, so I don't know for sure. But probably not. Do you like hunting? I've never been, but I don't like the idea of hunting. I don't have a problem with people doing it, but I wouldn't enjoy it. Do you like camping? I don't know, I've never been camping. So I can't really answer yes or no, because I don't know. I like the idea of camping, but I've never actually been camping. Do you like guns? I mean, sorta. Don't make this weird. Guns are scary in a lot of ways, but I don't know, there's just something about them. I'm kind of like guns. Are you getting tired of answering questions? I mean, this is building a bit long, but not really. Consider yourself to be kinky. Oh boy. I mean, isn't everybody just a little bit kinky, if we're being really honest about it? Eyes the wonders of the soul, do you agree? Yeah, I do. Do you always keep your promises? I don't make a lot of promises. But that's because I don't make promises I can't keep. Would you ever completely trust someone who's lied to you? Probably not. Are you an only child? No. I mean, kind of. It's complicated, okay? My mom was, well, both my parents were married before they met each other. They were both married to other people. I don't know why my mom divorced her first husband. They were always amicable with each other. They'd see each other at family events and holidays and stuff all the time. They were friends. You know, it wasn't a nasty breakup as far as I know. It happened way before I was ever even a possibility of being born. My dad's first wife was a bitch, and he will readily admit and tell stories about her being a bitch. So he never had any kids with her for a variety of reasons, but I'm thankful that he didn't, because I can only imagine that her kids would have been just as horrible as she was, if not worse. My mom's two kids were my sister and my older brother. They were teenagers when they got married. And my sister was almost grown when I was born. So my very early childhood, I wasn't technically an only child. But then, when they grew up and moved out, I was. We were never kids at the same time. They were almost old enough to be my parents themselves, my older siblings. So in a way, I guess I am an only child. I was raised as one anyway. Do you ever enjoy being drunk? Sometimes a little bit with the right people, yes. Do you like tattoos? Yeah, I do. I don't have any. I'd like to get some, but I think they're cool. Do you enjoy being high? In any form? I mean, I don't know, because I've never actually been high. Maybe once or twice. I don't really remember. My voice is raw. I don't think so. I don't know. Do you believe it? Yes, I do. I believe every living creature does. Did you cry this week? Let's see. Technically, this is the start of the week. It's Sunday, so... or Saturday. Probably yes. Because I'm super emotional. Specifically, I'm super... Well, actually... No. That would have been last week. I don't know. I'm trying to think. I probably cried about something because I get super emotional about stupid things. So I'm just gonna say yes, just to cover my bases. Are you upset with someone right now? No, not particularly. Is there someone you're not being completely honest with daily? Not that I know of. Do you understand how this works? Not at all. If you answer the questions twice, your truth might change. It's not just about answering the questions, it's about the time you spend answering them. The combination you answer them in. It's about many different variables you never guessed. Do you understand? Yeah. Are you wondering if the ending of this test is coming soon based on the previous question you just answered? Yeah, I am, actually. If I were to tell you that this entire process is planned here for you, specifically you to learn something about yourself and anyone else, blah, 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 but I believe that? No. I believe you created this experience, or whatever, to be enjoyed by as many people as possible, because everyone would have a different outcome from it. Are you afraid of being abandoned? Yes, actually. See, way back to the start of this video when I said I was lonely on a planet of 7 billion people. Are you afraid of dying alone? I mean, I don't want to be alone when I die, but chances are pretty good that's how it'll happen. But I wouldn't say I'm afraid of it, no. Do you worry that one day you'll be unexpectedly murdered? I kind of am now. No, no, no. I don't go anywhere often enough or interact with people online enough to entice anyone to murder me for any reason whatsoever. Are you always on guard, waiting to fend off? No. Why would I be? Do you feel like I know you yet? Probably pretty well, yeah. Have you heard any strange noises? Yes, because you've been playing them in the background. I think we have enough information about you. You can skip questions? How do you do that? Whether you skip questions, answered honestly or dishonestly, took loads of time to respond or answer quickly without reading, or answer probably a bit of tell. Calculating results. Analyzing carefully. I'm judging you. Go ahead, you're not the first, you won't be the last. Based on what you've told me, this is what I can conclude. You've sure been through a hell of a lot in life. Yes, I have. The life that you managed to live and the things you've managed to experience would make so many others both jealous and thankful that they did not go through what you managed to go through. That's probably true, actually. You are such a warrior. You are the embodiment of what it is to be strong. A lot stronger than you even realize. One criticism I can offer you, though, if any, is that you need to lighten up at times, whether it be on others or more importantly on yourself. That's very true. The burdens of the world are not on your shoulders. You can get stressed very easily. It's in your nature. Take some well-deserved time to yourself. You owe it to yourself, seriously. There's one major thing in your life that you really need to get a strong handle on, however, and that's your financial status. You're not secure enough for your own liking. You are not where you want to be forever, and you know it. That's kind of true. Like, as far as my home is concerned, I'm living back in the home my parents bought. I'm in not in childhood home, but teenagehood home. I want this to be my home. I want to fix it because there's a lot of work that needs to be done, a lot of repairs to be made, but I want this to be my home. You still got time. The end of the world is not even near, even though it may feel like it sometimes. You've managed to get this far, you can go a whole lot further, with just a little bit more effort, but it's up to you to push hard. I'm trying. If there's anything you take away from this, please let it be this. Be positive, stay positive, and let your positivity become infectious. You must spread it around like the plague. I actually try to do that with my online presence, at least, and in my day-to-day encounters with other people, even. It's hard to stay positive, but I make a conscious effort to do so. Just be a good kind of plague, that's all. Secret word is greed. Remember, this word will come in handy. Take the secret word that was assigned to you at the end of the session. Leave it in a comment for us. We will be selecting some of you based on your answers to be included in a future project. I don't know if this is still true, by the way, but I'm going to do this regardless. I'll do that later. No worries. Oh, no, they've been of some help to you, and even if they aren't yet, they all make sense very soon. That was a very interesting experience. So yeah, if you watched this all the way to the end, congratulations, it was a hell of a long video. If you did watch it, then you got to know me a lot better than you previously did. Thank you for sticking with me. And go check out the test for yourself. Your experience will no doubt be quite different from mine. Even if you answer the same questions in the same way. Don't do that though, seriously. Answer questions for your own self. Anyway, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you later.